Age is no barrier. At least that's the thinking behind Age Concern Barrow's Building Bridges initiative, an intergenerational project that brings young and older people together to share time and experiences. Local history and creative arts projects have all been very successful in fostering strong links between the generations, but one mixed age initiative of late has made a particularly deep impression for both ends of the age range. This video is about Philosophy for Children, or P4C as it's known, and its potential for fostering a healthy dialogue between the ages. Mixed-age philosophy inquiries bring older adults and young people together to engage in a joint search for understanding in response to a question that they have selected. Barry Heimer, Senior Educational Psychologist at Barrow Community Learning Partnership, explains the background to P4C.
P4C's got its origins in around about the late 1960s, when Matthew Lippmann, who is an academic philosopher at Montclair University, decided that the world wasn't behaving reasonably. And he asked a question. He said, what would it be like if we could actually teach children to behave in a reasonable way? And he developed the approach of Philosophy for Children as an attempt to engage in that kind of experience.
I will put in the box 3 violent wishes spoken in Gujarati, the last joke of an ancient uncle, and the first smile of a baby.
It involves a range of things. It involves children having experience of a stimulus, which is going to encourage them to think and to reflect. So any P4C inquiry involves a stimulus being presented. It could be a little video excerpt, it could be a story, it could be a poem, it could be a game for thinking. And the children are asked to have a look at the stimulus, to reflect on the stimulus, and to come up with a good question, a philosophical question, a question which will invite them to raise issues, explore issues, pool their different views and interpretations.
I think words have got a soul, souls in the people that's written them, where people express their souls in words.
Does the poem help people to think back on their lives?
Does the poem help people to think about their lives?
And having raised the stimulus and raised the questions, the children vote on the question, the one that they, as a group, feel would be the most interesting question to inquire into. And at that point, one question will usually emerge as the one that has captured most of the interest. So in that sense, the questions are coming from the people themselves. And it's their question, they have a degree of ownership for it, and it's one that they really want to get their teeth into. And at that point, the facilitator of the inquiry would simply shepherd that inquiry along, trying to create questions which probe for depth and understanding and encourage the children to look a bit deeper and a bit more thoughtfully into the issues that are emerging. And there would often be some kind of plenary session at the end where you try and pull things together and try and hold things together.
Okay, this is a time now you can share if you've had a new insight or a new thought, anything that's come into your mind while you've been listening. If you haven't said anything before, would you like to chip in?
Questions lead on to another question, and questions could never end if like Ashton started a question off, all of us would start asking questions to that, and it wouldn't end, it wouldn't.
It's different from the usual school experience in that we haven't got a curriculum to be delivered. It's, if you like, less a curriculum to be delivered than an activity of mind. And what you're trying to do in an inquiry is to promote an activity of mind in all the people who are members of that inquiry.
Older people have lived through very different life and times to younger people. So in some ways we have to adapt to the life and times they're in with different values, different peer groups and everything. They've not been through wars or anything, so I think in some cases we can be role models, so long as we don't think that we are the goodies and they are the baddies.
That's the point.
The motivation behind approaches like Philosophy for Children are not in the first instance around raising standards. However, all the evidence that's accumulating nowadays is that it seems to do that as a kind of, if you like, a secondary gift. No one sets out to do P4C specifically in order to raise children's reading or writing standards, but the surprising thing is it seems to do that. And we can only speculate as to where the connections are, why that seems to happen. But from what teachers say, they see the connections between children developing the confidence to ask questions, to look laterally, to not worry about being stuck, and to see stuckness as a source not of frustration but of lateral thinking, coming sideways in on something. And they come to learn the value of listening to others, turn-taking, sharing, and not feeling that they have to have the whole solution themselves. There can be something done collaboratively.
Since working with various schools on mixed-age inquiries, Age Concern Barrow has found the P4C approach has struck a chord with older people too. Many enjoy the mixed-age P4C sessions so much, they also meet for additional inquiries at Age Concern to further explore and develop their own thinking.
It makes your brain work. I love it because it makes you think. And I used to be horrible at debating society at school. It was no use at all. But as I get older, experience with life, I find I can bring my past experiences to use, and it comes out when I get in a group of people like this. It really is wonderful.
And in that sense, P4C is much less of a debate than a true inquiry. In the debates, we're setting out to impress upon other people the rightness of our views. And in a P4C inquiry, it's much more around coming up with the best possible understanding. And if that involves me changing my views, hallelujah, you know, we understand things better.
Some people are like that, but not everybody can be painted with the same brush.
Yes.
We had to rely on one another to live. Not during the war, for something to eat, you had to rely on one another to do it. We haven't now. It's just grab for yourself and that's all right.
I agree with you there.
You agree with that? What's your point? Your point
That
is...
not everybody's like that, no.
No.
And I just really enjoy it, and I said before, it has certainly enriched my life. And I've grown a bigger sort of feeling about the children of today when I've been mixing with them in the junior school, the infants, and particularly sixth form college. I'm amazed how children will bring out their views.
And in that sense, it does seem to free up children in the classroom situation from feeling that learning is about coming up with the one right answer, which is somewhere there in the teacher's head, and it's our job to second guess what's in the teacher's head. In this sense, their thinking and their learning and their reasoning is much more from within, and it's being drawn out and teased out, but therefore much more real and much more owned, much more collaborative, and much more long-lasting.
Not only can P4C have positive effects for children's thinking and learning, older people too are finding being part of a community of inquiry has a positive and even rejuvenating effect.
Well, what I get from the sessions is a chance to let out some of the ideas that are bursting in my head. I get so stimulated, dying to say something, but I have to learn to take turns and let other people have a chance. So that's what I get, intense stimulation.
I'm very, very pleased to be part of this group. Certainly enriched my life, and I'm sure it'll enrich not only our age group, my age group, your age group, but also the children's.
President Woodrow Wilson has this lovely phrase. He says, "I use not only all the brains I have, but all that I can borrow." And in a sense, Philosophy for Children captures that. very similar to the Japanese proverb, none of us is as smart as all of us. And what Philosophy sets out to do is to celebrate that. Individually, I can have so many thoughts. Together, there's no limit. And my own thinking develops and builds on the thinking of others.
How does that intense stimulation make you feel? Is it a nice feeling?
Very alive, very much younger.